Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Leftovers podcast. My name is Cooper.
I'm Riley.
I'm Paige.
And we're back with some more alternate,
timeline.
Not timeline, alternate historical period fan fiction.
Yes.
Alternate timeline fan fiction.
This is bad.
No, this is great. We're off to a great start.
So what years did everyone pick here?
I am continuing with 1940s, 1930s, you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
Nazi
and
Germany.
Them Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do the Edo period of Japan. Don't ask me what year that is. I don't know.
I don't know either, and I'm the history weeb and the weeb.
So I guess we'll never know.
No. It was a long time ago.
Very long ago. What did you pick?
Pick. I can't...
Vic.
I'm not really sure, so I'm gonna say medieval, because mine is a Dark Souls AU.
Okay.
Of
Medieval. You can get away with that.
Medieval. It's pretty medieval. They don't even have guns. It's pretty medieval.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would be surprised
if they had medieval
if they
guns.
had a gun.
So that'd be kind of cool.
Well, when they had guns, that's the start of the Renaissance, you know. They still had, like, you know, men on foot, but they had really shitty guns.
Why is he doing this?
I just want a medieval story where they have, like, flat screens inside their cabins.
TBH.
So who wants to go first?
Should we let Paige continue her
Paige,
story?
you should continue.
Yes. I wrote notes this time.
Yes. Get it.
Notes in the notebook.
Finally, you're not a useless little bitch.
All right.
Oh, I need to get my phone because my notes are on there. Oops.
All right.
Continue without me.
I shall continue without Cooper.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
So mine's a 1D fanfic from last week. It's called If They Could Fly Higher by Tomlin Drugs. Are you reading my notes?
No.
Look the fuck away, you dumb slut.
I'm not absorbing what they're saying. I'm just reading the occasional word.
What did they teach you in middle school? Not to look at other people's notes. That's wrong.
No, they say specifically you should look at their notes if you were absent.
Were you absent?
I'm absent all the time.
Well, anyway, so this is where we left the fuck off. So we have Louis Teller and our Jew boy Harry Stekleberg. Tensions are rising. The Stekleberg dad lost his job in fucking Parliament.
Yeah.
Harry can't go to school because he's Jewish.
Yeah.
No.
Ariel and Carla Stekleberg talked about divorce.
Yeah.
Fucking the Tellers are still rich as hell. The dad is a Nazi. And Crystal Night happened, and hopefully Harry doesn't wear his necklace anymore.
Do you remember the scene where he was like, I touched myself thinking of you?
Yeah, that was also a thing that happened.
How could we forget?
I also
Such an iconic scene.
I forgot to add in that they keep on making Icarus comparisons.
No!
Yes, and I fucking hate that.
Bro, those are so overused.
Because Harry wants to fucking fly. So Icarus is mentioned a lot. But anyway, so the next part, I wrote down the fucking dates. I'm so clean on this, guys.
Clean.
It's September 1939. They are 15 years old, right?
Yes.
Harry is like, I made my own remote control plane. I'm gonna put it out this window without testing it at all.
I mean,
and it crashes into the streets of
Me.
Berlin, which I think is foreshadowing.
Yeah.
What? I can't think of anything.
And like they're listening to BBC radio quietly because, you know, they don't want people to know they're listening to BBC radio.
Of course.
But they're
It's
like,
a
we're
crime.
not gonna listen to German radio because they tried to say that we're attacking Poland because we're invading Poland because they attacked us first, which is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
And where we've happened historically wise is England and France have declared war on Germany, and the little German kids are now running in the street being like, death to the English. You know, real cute.
Real cute.
Real
Death to the
cute
English.
Nazi children.
Louis comes home one day, and his dad has left him a gift on his bed. It's a nice little uniform, little gray
Oh.
with a nice little red armband.
You know, it looks really fashionable
It's
in
very
my mind.
fashionable.
I wonder why he left the uniform.
And
I don't know.
It's a little Nazi uniform. For his son, he's like, we're gonna have a guy come in and he's gonna see if you can go to the school. Hitler's Youth.
Hitler's Youth.
And I was like, oh my fuck, was that a real thing? And it was.
Yes, it was.
I only hear that used in modern day. I didn't know that was a real thing.
Oh, the Hitler Youth was like the Boy Scouts of Nazi Germany.
So they come and then they, compare his body to the, perfect Aryan body.
Yes, they did a lot of that.
That's how he got
Nazi
in.
Germany.
He almost didn't get in because of his fucking asthma. The guy that's like testing out Louis, he comes out and he's teaching his little sisters like to salute Hitler.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
And he looks over at his mom and the mom's like, can't he just let kids be kids? And Mr. Teller is like, shut the fuck up.
Oh god.
He's
Ooh.
like showing increased aggression as he becomes more and more of a Nazi.
Oh god.
So that's a thing.
It's only natural for a Nazi to become more aggressive.
Also, this is a side note. They keep on writing hello as hello, like with an A.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that how you
German.
say
That is how you say hello in
Okay,
German.
because I feel like I may have not been paying attention, but I feel like they only started doing this on like chapter 8.
It's getting increasingly German as it goes on.
Louis puts on his Nazi uniform, goes next door to say what's up to Harry. And
Hello, Harry.
is hanging out with Eden, who I have not mentioned because I didn't think she'd be relevant, but turns out she is.
Oh no.
Okay, who is
I've
Eden?
done that before.
Eden is a girl. She's a Jew girl. Her father is Harry's tutor. And she hangs out with Harry a lot. She's very pretty. Louis gets really jealous of her.
Oh, okay. Just the girl character then.
And he shows up in his Nazi uniform, and Harry's a smoker now because why not?
Smoking was cool back
It's bad
then.
for Louis's asthma, though.
Yeah.
And, they're just being really passive-aggressive, and he's like, this is my uniform. And Harry's like, whatever. I see you're gonna be part of them. And he's like, it's not my choice. And Eden's kind of being like a little bit of a snooty girl, but she leaves, And they mention that the Teller family has become really racist. Like, the little daughters have become really racist.
Oh.
But they're also, like, 4 and below.
So they don't know what they're saying.
And Lottie, who's the oldest daughter, but who's also, like, 6 or something, or 7. She still tries to talk to Harry because she's like, Harry doesn't seem like a bad guy. She's not racist. But the
Okay.
littler ones are racist. And the mom will be like, Lottie, don't fucking speak to Harry. And she's like, I'm just trying to say hello. And she's like, I know you're just trying to say hello. But she'll, like, look regretfully at Harry. So I'm like, she's just afraid, I think, for her family and for herself.
Probably.
And they kind of try to make her out to be a bad guy, but I don't really think she really is. Except for a part that comes later.
At this point, I think she's just trying to survive.
I think she's just scared.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so this school, Louis only comes home on the weekends. Like, he's gonna live there. And he goes to school and he meets his roommate, Hayden Deutscher.
Uh-huh.
And Hayden is like, the principal made me show you around. That's gonna be $20.
So of course he's an asshole.
20 Nazi dollars.
And apparently Hayden is so fucking attractive. He's a big, strong, Aryan man. Blonde hair and blue eyes.
Oh.
Right.
And he's his roommate, and he's like, make sure you follow the rules, because even if anything's out of place, he'll take all your stuff and throw it on the ground. And, like, harass you. And he's like, okay. And they have an assembly. Kruger is their headmaster. And everybody is like, Hail Hitler, and like
Hail Hitler.
saluting. and all that shit.
Dabbing on those Jews.
But Louis is like, I'm not gonna fucking do this. I'm gonna stand out from the crowd. And I'm like, you wanna fucking
bitch,
die.
you're gonna die.
He's becoming Harry now in the sense that he wants to fucking die. The headmaster notices him.
Yeah.
And he's like, you there. Come to the front. Did you learn our praising song to the Fuhrer?
No.
And by the way, Julius and Frank are at this school too. And he's like, oh boy, I did not. And he's like, surely you will. You can just start singing it. You surely know it. And he looks into the crowd, and there's Julius, the piece of shit that he is. And even Julius is looking worried. And so he starts trying to sign the lyrics. Because even piece of shit Julius, who's like a dick to Louis, is all like, you don't want to fuck up here. You don't want to fuck up, boy.
Boy, no.
And so he sings. And they're like, you have a nice high-pitched voice. So I guess that's a little reference to One Direction. And he's like, thanks. And as he's going around the dorms with Hayden at some point, he's like, why are there a bunch of girls in the boy dorms? And,
I don't know.
And he's like, who do you think cleans and sews up our stuff and cooks for us?
Ooh.
And he's like, he's like, but there are a lot of them. This seems a little weird. And he's like, yeah, but they have other uses too. And I was like,
Oh.
I was like, what?
You know, I remember learning about this in AP World.
Yeah, it's about to get real fucked up.
I'm aware.
Louis
It's very fucked up.
notices one lunch that one of the girls is pregnant, a 16-year-old girl.
Oh.
And he's like, I don't even want to think about who the father is.
Ooh.
And he heard from Hayden, though. He was like, yeah, there's this one 16-year-old girl that I raped.
Oh.
Yeah, they're
What
just
the
raping the
fuck?
girls. And he was like, you should try it too sometime, Louis.
Oh.
She's real quiet and won't tell a soul. And he's like, that's because you threatened her.
Oh.
What the fuck,
So
man?
we all agree that Hayden is irredeemable. Am I correct?
Of course.
Yes. Quite
Yes.
irredeemable.
Yes. Cue shower scene, group shower.
Oh, no.
Louis is still checking out Hayden because he's like, that man is sculpted. He is so
What the
attractive.
fuck, Louis?
I don't know. As soon as I would have found out he was
Louis.
a rapist, I would have been like, he's the ugliest person on this planet.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. And then Hayden sees him and he's like calling him out in front of everybody. He's like, why are you staring at me? You gay boy?
No.
And,
No,
and
Hayden.
he's like, what? And he's like, I better not catch you doing it fucking again. And they go to the dorm. And he's like, you're going to be paying me money now unless you want me to tell everyone what you are. And you will die if I tell everyone. Because they will kill you. Because we live in Nazi Germany.
I hope that's what he said at the end.
And then in comes one of the Nazi boys, and he's inspecting the room. Louis' side, he fucked up folding his clothes. He pulls everything out of the closet, all of his belongings. He throws them onto the floor. Makes Louis do push-ups, and then he starts pressing down on Louis' back with his foot, like, stomp, stomp.
Damn.
And he's like, what you gonna do now? When Hayden's like, stop it. He's like, this is inhumane. And I'm like, the rapist is
What
saying
the
this
fuck?
is inhumane. Hayden's like, and the guy leaves. And
It
Louis is like, thank you.
It seems like to me everyone in this society seems to know that at least part of it is fucked up.
Yeah. Like, Lou's like, thank you. And he was like, don't thank me. It just reminded me of my first day here. But you fucking suck. And I was like, Hayden
You
is...
fucking gay.
If that was supposed to
Gay
redeem
boy.
Hayden a bit,
It did not.
It didn't.
No.
Because I hate him. It is now 1941, September. They are now 17 years old. Louis
no.
is almost 18. Excuse the sound of a page turning.
A page.
She has a
Ooh,
lot
that's
of
my
notes.
name.
Yeah, it is.
Page turning.
It starts off with Harry noting, wow, there's so many stars in Berlin. So many beautiful stars. Just kidding, they're handsome stars with the word Jude on them that all the Jewish people are wearing. I was like, no.
That's That's a yikes for me, dog.
Now, like, he's like, I don't go out in public a lot anymore because I have that little star on me. It doesn't matter if I wear my necklace. But being at home isn't safe either because SS agents just raid the house whenever and take whatever. They always call my mom the Jew's little whore.
Oh.
Eden came up to him one day and was like, we're getting passports, me and my family. We're going to Switzerland. It's 1941. We're going to Switzerland. And he's, like, jealous because he's like, I want to fucking leave.
Yeah.
But she, like, before she leaves, she tries to kiss him, but he shoves her off of him. And she's like, I would have taken you with me, you know? And then leaves.
What a dumb
What the
little
fuck?
bitch.
And I'm like, she's a dumb bitch, but she's a safe bitch, though.
True, but, like, I would have taken you with me.
Why would you
If
tell
you
that to
accepted
someone?
my advances. Fuck you.
Lottie is now 10 and a half years old, and she's still the best character.
The little girl is the best character.
Mr. Teller's now Major Teller.
Yikes.
And
Wow.
he was, like, talking to his son, and he was like, I know what you fucking are. You're a little gay boy. And he was like, you're lucky I don't denounce you and, like, report you to the Gestapo. I don't know how to say it.
The Gestapo.
Gestapo, thank you. And then, like, one night on the town, you know, because they have ration coupons. Yay! War Nazi Germany ration coupons.
Yay!
Yeah, equip your coupons.
Carla
Go to your
was
store.
like, let's go get our rations. And this guy was like, oh, look, it's the whore. It's the Jew whore. The Jew's little whore.
That's bad.
And Harry was like, I've had it. I've heard it a lot. I've heard it too much. And he went to Pound Town on that guy.
Oh.
And that guy just started hitting Harry back. And Carla was like, nope, okay, we need to get the fuck out of here. Let's go back home. And she's like, don't do that again. Just don't ever defend me like that again. Because you could die. They will kill you. Like, they can call me
I'm
names.
surprised they didn't kill him on the spot.
I know.
Like, that boy should be dead.
Louis comes in. He's like, oh, God, your face is so messed up. And at this point, they haven't said they're dating, but they make out wherever. Like, they're risking it all, you know? And they just
Gotta get
Smart.
that good suck.
Like,
I
they
mean.
care a little bit. Like, they don't want anybody to do it, but they take a lot of risks out in public, which is bad.
Yeah?
They have jerked each other off multiple times at this point.
Oh.
And there's
Okay.
been one blowjob.
Get that good suck.
Get that good suck. And Louis is like, Harry, let's just go out tonight. Let's just hang out, you and I. Harry's like, that's a great idea. So they go to a nice little park. Louis takes off his jacket and was like, look what I'm wearing. He's wearing a Jude
Oh,
star.
no.
Like a dumbass.
Yeah.
Stupid.
And Harry's like, you're so fucking stupid. And they make out.
You're so fucking
Stupid. Let me kiss you.
And
I like you.
I like
I
it.
like ya. And they felt a warm, light pressure.
Oh,
But
God.
Louis carved into the tree their initials and that they love each other and shit. And they're like, this park is amazing. And Louis is telling Harry all about how Hayden cried at a parade that Hitler was at because he wants to suck Hitler's cock, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And they're like, but this park that we're at is beautiful. And then it notes, the park may be beautiful now, but in
yeah.
1945 it will be bombed by the Soviets and filled
Wow.
with their tanks.
Thank you, author, for
And
that.
I was like, love.
Thanks for the details.
So they end up going home, but it's after 8 p.m. Jewish people have a curfew
Uh-oh.
for 8 p.m. And an SS officer catches them. And he's like, Jews need to be at their house. What the fuck are y'all guys doing out here? And Louis is like, do you know who I am? The officer looks at the stupid star Louis is still wearing. And he is like, who are you, Jew boy? And he's like, oh shit. And they get put up against a wall when a car comes down the street. Out of the car comes Mr. Teller. And he's like, that's my son against the wall. Oh yeah, I should mention that when the SS officer is like, well, you're wearing a star, you're a Jew. Louis is like, I have nothing to do with them.
No.
And
Louis.
Harry is just like, I'm not having this, Chief. He's angry about that. He's like, I'm not one of them. I have nothing to do with them.
Louis, that's a
I'm
bad
not
look.
associated with them.
Louis, no.
Mr. Teller's like, that's my son. And he's like, your son's a Jew? And he's like, nope, just an idiot. I'm like, I agree with something that this Nazi had said.
As awful as this is, Louis is really pushing it.
He's really stupid.
And then Mr. Teller takes Louis home and they leave Harry behind with the SS officer.
Rest in peace,
and
Harry.
Harry's like, I'm gonna die. And the officer's just like, I'm feeling benevolent. I'm gonna let you go home. Because he's like, why was the guy hanging out with the officer's kid? So he was a little wigged out, but he lets him go home. So he got lucky. Eden also wrote to Harry. And she's like, it's wonderful in Switzerland.
What a little
What
bitch.
a bitch.
And she's like, however, I do have bad news, and I hope things get better for you. But they caught my dad at the border, and he's stuck in Germany. I don't know if I'll ever see him again.
Oh, shit.
And that's the last we hear of that, so I assume her dad's dead, and she lived.
Probably.
Louis is in trouble with his dad, so now he can't even come home on weekends, and he stays at the fucking school for 2 months straight, not once coming home. It's now October 1941. A month has passed, or September, October. Yep, a month has passed. Hayden has enlisted, and he's sent to Moscow, meaning he died.
Rest in peace.
That's my assumption. That's the last we hear about him, is that he was sent to Moscow.
Nah, he's pretty
He's
fucked.
pretty dead, I would say.
Pretty dead.
He's pretty dead.
He's pretty dead if he was sent to Moscow.
And now we have the latest installment of Louis as a dumbass, because he's trying his best to be expelled from the school. And his friends are like, wear this red badge of a resistance movement for the regime.
He wants to die, right?
And he wore it around.
He's just asking for death.
And he goes to Kruger, the headmaster, and the headmaster's like, are you part of this movement? And he's like, no, of course not. I know what you're doing because you're a dumb child. And he's like, if it wasn't for your dad's position, we would have assumed that you and your whole family were part of the resistance, and we would have killed everyone. So not only did he, endanger himself, he endangered his mom and his little sisters.
Consistently dumb.
Because he wanted to rebel.
And they never once mention how selfish that is of him.
Yeah.
I understand, it's fine to be a part of the resistance movement because that's a good thing, but being just not a part of it and just wanting to show it.
No, just being, nonchalant about it. Yeah, I'm wearing this armband.
I'm like, dang. So he comes back and he sees Harry. And Harry, at this point, and his family, and they don't have a choice. It's past the time for them to escape because Jewish immigration's not allowed anymore.
Yikes.
Ooh.
I'm gonna die.
After he gets expelled, his dad's like, Louis, you're the biggest disappointment I've ever had. Probably a good thing to hear from your Nazi father, though.
Yeah.
That's when he meets Harry with Nora, who's a Jew, she's Austrian, and fled Hamburg. Yep.
Yep.
And he gets jealous. He is so racist towards Nora. He's like, I want to talk to Harry because it's the first time I've been back in 2 months. And he's like, Harry, who's this? And she's like, it's Nora. And he's like, I see the Jude star. Do you know who my dad is? Y'all guys aren't supposed to be out here. You want me to go get my dad and have him send you to prison? Jew girl, you little Jew girl.
What the fuck?
I will get you and your family.
Louis has no fucking right
No, he doesn't.
to say any of that.
So, of course, the girl cries and runs away. And Harry's like, fine, I'm gonna leave. Stomp, stomp, stomp. And he's like, no, not you. I just wanted her to leave. And I was like, you're such a big asshole.
Why does Harry like this boy?
That
I don't know.
Louis is
I also don't
a
like
dick.
Harry, though. But I'm more sympathetic towards Harry than I am Louis.
Yeah, Harry's kind of an idiot as well, but less of an idiot.
And in their discussion, Harry's like, we should end this. And he's like, I couldn't, let's just end this.
No more good suck.
And Louis like, why? And he's like, my father threatened you. He's like, yeah, he said he would kill my parents. And he's like, we should still be together. And Harry's like, no, we're just impossible, the two of us. And Louis like, okay then. And then Harry, this wishy-washy bitch, is immediately like Louis like, so does that mean we're over? And Harry's like, it's up to you.
What?
What?
And
What
Louis
was the
like,
point of that scene?
Louis like, it sounded pretty much to me like you wanted it to be over. And he's like, your decision. And he's like, nope, you made your decision. And Louis walks away.
Ooh.
And I'm like, I hate Harry too.
Everyone sucks.
As he's going out, he sees Nora on the staircase holding her little brother, Peter, who's a little small child. And Louis is like, hey, don't run away from me. I know I'm wearing the swastika right now and everything, and I threatened you earlier, but I'm just angry. Nora's a sweetheart. She forgave him.
Damn.
And was like, it's all chill. She's like, Harry's talked about you a lot. And he's like, yeah, I'm really not like that. And so they all become friends with Nora, but separately, because Louis and Harry don't hang out anymore.
We don't talk anymore.
Also, Harry goes home.
I got a missed call from my dad. I ought to call him real quick.
We will hold.
We will hold.
My favorite, the only thing I've actually read is this. It's my favorite thing. I can probably guess what that means. You wrote it a lot of times.
I did. I was horrified.
There you go.
But I was also laughing, but not because it was funny.
Well, yes, of course. So, what do you want?
Oh no, the game coming.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
Lord.
We got 20 minutes to wrap this up.
Oh, 20 minutes.
Before, like, 5 people show up.
Wrap it up. 20 minutes.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Louis went home crying, and the mom wanted to comfort him, but the dad was like, shut up, and don't make me do something I'm going to regret to you, wife. Just some aggression I want to show. Also, at this point in history, German forces pierced the Soviet defense line south of Tula. It's now December 1941. A few more months have passed. Harry's like, I really want to leave. I have a real bad feeling.
Yeah.
Ariel's like, it's okay. I have an idea. I met an old friend recently. They make fake passports, right?
Yes.
We can get you a fake passport. Your mom and I are going to stay here, though. But you can leave. And Harry's like, that's amazing.
Okay.
And he's like, it'll take us like 2 weeks to get your passport, though. Harry's like, sounds cool, yo. Now we see Julius hanging out with Louis, and Louis is like, I'm sad, Julius. And Julius is like, I'm not in the Hitler Youth anymore because I got shot in the arm at the school.
Damn.
Whoa.
Because a kid didn't know how to handle a gun and got scared and shot me.
That's what happens when you give a kid a gun.
And this is when we see the biggest character development is with Julius, and he's like, you're not with Harry anymore?
Be with
Sucks.
me.
I really thought you would end up like my brother and his boyfriend. And he's like, your brother and his what? And he's like, I thought you knew. My brother's gay. He's been living in New York. I haven't heard from him for years because my family, like, threw him out because he's gay. And he's like, at first I was angry at my brother, but not because he's gay, but because he left. But I was just too young to understand why he was leaving, and I thought he abandoned me. And he was like, and I thought Harry, the reason why I was mean to Harry wasn't because he was really Jewish or anything. It's because I thought he was going to bring you trouble too. I didn't want to see what happened to my family happen to you. And I was like, oh my god.
Okay.
Julius, what?
Okay,
Julius.
way to drop the bomb.
And he's like, it's probably for the best though that this has happened. And he's like, it's cool if you're gay, you know. And Louis is like, I'm not gay. I'm not one of them. There's something wrong with those people. And Julius was like, what the fuck, man? I just told you about my brother. And that's the last we ever see of Julius. Christmas sucks now. They stomp on Jew children.
What the fuck?
Can we cut that out and put that at the beginning?
Louis goes to see Nora, and she's like, me and my family are leaving because a man came in with lists and being like, who's all the Jewish residents living in this apartment? where we have some immigration issues. And she's like, something similar happened in Hamburg, and we fled Hamburg. So my dad thinks they're deporting all of us somewhere. The author then notes, little do they know that in Hamburg in October, they were all taken to Warsaw and the ghetto, given no food or supplies, and they're all dead, and their the corpses litter the streets.
Why is the author gotta just be such a killjoy?
I mean, she's stating, she's like, historical fact here, this place right here will be exploded.
It's good she's giving the audience proper historical context.
Nora gives Louis some good advice. She's like, go talk to Harry. Go try to make it up with him. Harry's gonna leave. Don't tell your family I'm leaving, she said to the Nazi boy, but Louis is a good person and he's not telling anyone. So then an SS agent goes into the Stekleberg home and he's like, names! Birthdays! And when he gets to Carla, he's like, your last name is fucking Hertz? Is that your maiden name? She's like, nope, that's my real last name. Let me see your documents. Her and Ariel got divorced in 1938. So they did go through with the divorce, so she could be saved.
Okay.
Dang.
I'm just kind of sad by that fact.
Yeah.
Alright. So, Louis is like, okay, well, I'm going to go home before I talk to Harry. He goes home. His mom and his dad are yelling at each other. His mom's name is Frida, by the way. I learned her name.
Frida.
Finally, you've learned her name.
And she's like, you can't do this. There's children in this apartment complexes. And then he slaps her.
Oh.
He slaps the bitch.
He does not give a fuck.
Mm-mm. And Louis just doesn't care. He's like, whatever. And he goes to fucking Lottie, and Lottie's there, and Lottie's like, they all fucking suck. She's like, our little sisters, they have Hitler as a poster over their bed.
Oh my god.
And she's like, I have to share a room with them, and I'm not here for it, is what Lottie's like. But they're also like 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
So there's still time to fix this, you know? And Louis like, there's also a lot of bombings and air raids, by the way. And Louis just doesn't give a shit about his mom. Like, he walks in to get some water, and she's crying with a battered face, you know?
It doesn't do anything.
And he's just very indifferent. He's like, I've tried to reach out to her in the past, and she pushed me away. And I'm like...
now's not the time for that, Louis.
So much.
Louis, why are you like this?
But this is when the mom sucks. And she's like, Louis, wait. And he's like, what is it? And she was going to tell him something that she may have been upset about earlier, why she got hit. And, but she looks at her son, and with his cold stare to her, she's like, he looks just like his father. So she keeps it to herself.
What?
4 a.m. hits.
What the fuck?
There's
4
trucks,
a.m.
dogs, and soldiers knocking on people's doors. Not just any people's doors, the Jewish people's doors. They're pulling them out of their homes and loading them into trucks. They have the list.
They're just going to a nice little hotel.
They're going to a nice hotel. Lottie and, what's his name? Louis are standing outside watching this all happen. When they hear, where's Peter? Peter, whatever Jewish last name. Peter Jew? Where is it?
Goldstein.
Yeah, Peter Goldstein. And Nora Goldstein is all like, he died 4 weeks ago of a fever, you know, her little brother, but she's a liar. And he's like, dumb slut. That's what he actually calls her.
Oh my god.
That's not me this time. Just call
Not
her.
this time.
This
the
was
only
actually
time.
This
them
is
calling
different.
her a slut. And they're like, we have it here that he was alive 4 days ago because of the lists and everything. And they're like, we need to go find him. Go search the house. And Louis is a brave little boy. A dumb little boy, but a brave little boy with a good heart in this point. And he's become good friends with Nora. And he goes, I'm Peter.
Oh my god.
And the officer turns around and looks at him. And this is when you realize Louis is the biggest dumbass. Because that officer looking for Peter was his dad.
Oh.
And he's like, I'm not even going to say anything to you, but I just know that you're a dumb child.
How did he not notice?
He was like, I'm Peter.
Oh
Oh,
my
hi,
God.
Dad.
That's the dumbest thing ever.
They find Peter in the house, and the soldier comes out carrying the small boy.
Oh no.
And then Nora's screaming at the soldier, and she's like, "You son of a bitch!" She's like, "Don't touch him! Put him down!" And that's when Mr. Teller goes and he slaps her across the face, and he's like, "Take the boy to the truck."
A lot of slapping women going on right now.
A lot of abuse.
And he's like, "You think you can curse at me, dumb bitch?" And then he's kicking her, and he's stomping on her, and he's like, "Why don't you stand up? Why don't you get up off the ground?"
What the fuck?
And Lottie, who's 10 and a half, is watching her father do this, and she's screaming and crying, and she's like, "Stop it! You're going to kill her!" And she runs from Louie's arms to try to get her dad to stop. He just elbows her in the face.
Oh my god.
And she falls to the ground, and she's like sobbing, and she like crawls back to Louie, who's holding her, and they're like screaming at their dad to stop stomping on this girl. And then it's like their cries are fueling him more with one swift kick to the underside of her jaw. She stops moving.
Oh, so he killed her.
There's blood and gore everywhere.
He killed her.
He killed her. He killed this
in
child.
the street.
Even the other Nazi soldiers are all like, that was a kid. A German woman opens up her door and sees the dead dead Nora on the ground. And she's like, "That was just a child." She's like, "Y'all guys are all monsters. I'm tired of being quiet. Y'all all suck." And this is when he's like, "Take her to the truck, too."
Oh, no.
Oh.
And they're like, "But this is just a regular German woman." A regular German
A regular.
A regular German.
They have
A
to make that
non-Jewish
distinction.
German woman. And they drag her away. He's like, "I don't care. She's speaking out against us." And she goes into the truck, too.
Oh my god.
Mr. Teller then picks up Nora's body, goes to the truck where everybody's at, where Peter's at, where Nora's family, the Goldsteins, are at. And he stands in front of the truck and just dumps her body on the ground.
Holy
Damn.
And the mom is like screaming, and everybody's in an outrage, And everybody's being like, "It was an accident. It got out of hand."
shit. I don't think so.
But nobody believes that.
Who would?
And then the truck drives away. Harry's also in that truck, I should mention. His passport would have been finished 2 days later.
Oh.
What's her name? Carla's not in the truck, but Ariel is too. And they drive away. And Louis is just so very upset. And they tell them Happy Hanukkah before they go away too, which it's Hanukkah, so that was like, that's an asshole move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Louis, as he goes to bed that night, because he's somehow able to sleep, he wakes up the next day and sees it snowed outside. Looks outside. Nora's body is still on the ground. Her arm face down in mud, covered in snow, arms at awkward angles. And that's when he decided, "I'm leaving Berlin."
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. And he just fucking leaves. It is now 1945, May. We're back on the train. They're 21 years old. You know the train from the prologue?
The beginning.
Louis is a crazy person. And he's like, I've heard from BBC Radio all the horrors that's been happening, And fucking, like, I've been looking for Harry everywhere because I assumed he died. So Louis looks over and he realizes the guy that he's been on the train with this whole entire time is Harry. And they, like, reconcile or whatever. And he's like, "You're alive, you didn't die." And they hug outside the train station on the way to Berlin.
It's very ooh-woo.
Very ooh-woo, because, Louis is on the way to Berlin because his dad shot himself. The commander.
Oh, shit.
But not Hitler.
Not Hitler.
No.
Hitler shot himself, too. But I guess after Hitler shot himself, the commander was like, "Woe is me."
Me too.
Shoots
Same.
himself.
And
I
then
mean,
kills himself.
I'm sure a lot of Nazis shot themselves when they knew the war was lost.
Yeah, they mentioned that. He was like, his
It's
father
actually
knew
kind
the
of
war
interesting
was...
if a bunch of them also did kill themselves.
And Harry takes Louis to the Walters' home. Nobody's there, it's just them. And he's like, "Who the fuck is the Walters?" And he's like, "Let me tell you a story about about Hansel and Ada Walter." So after I was taken away, they took us to, a camp And after about a week, Ariel got sick. And Ariel knew he wasn't going to make it very long. Like, he's ill.
Me.
So Ariel was like, I have a plan, Harry. He was like, I will fucking learn the ins and outs of this place, and we're going to help you escape, Harry. And Harry's like, no. So Ariel's just doing his best. And, you know, he knows as soon as he stops, like, even though he was really ill, he'd get up every day, because he knows as soon as he's not working, he's lost his use and he's going to lose his life. And Harry was talking about how, like, he cried when they shaved his head, you know, because he loved his hair. He was like, he's like, I know it's just a small thing, but, you know, I really loved my hair. But a woman, like, patted my back and was like, it's okay, hair grows back.
Okay.
Oh.
And he was like, I remember one night I looked out and I thought it was snowing outside. But it wasn't cold at all.
Oh,
and that's
shit.
when my dad told me that they were burning the bodies.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, on one of the nights,
Yikers.
Ariel wasn't working fast enough because he's real
Oh.
ill, and an officer shoots him. At this point, he's taught Harry a lot of stuff on how to get away and everything. And after the officer shoots Ariel, they force Harry to drag Ariel's body to the pit where all the other bodies are and push them in there. And Harry decides that night is the night he's gonna try to escape. And so he gets some scissors, stabs an officer to death with the scissors. And he's like, that's gonna be with me till the day I die.
Yeah.
He's like, he put on the uniform and escaped like that. And he was like, they only searched for me for 3 days and 3 nights. And then they give up. And he was like, I was running and it was cold. He was like, I thought I was gonna die when I saw this cabin in the woods. And I went to their doorstep begging them because I was at death's door, essentially. And that's when Hansel Walder opened the door. And he was like, we really don't need you around here. Like, we're not Nazis and we're not racist, but we don't want to die. But for the good of my heart, I can't turn you away. So he lets him inside. They fix him up. They feed him. But they tell him that he can't stay there for free. Like, they moved out to the country. They're already on the blacklist because they're known as Jewish sympathizers and everything. So for every meal, he has to work. So he works the farm and everything. Not like a slave or anything, but he's like earning his keep. But the guy's very strict.
Tough trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
But it's better than being in a concentration camp.
They have a daughter named Lily who's like a little bit younger than Harry, but not much. And he has sex with her a lot.
Okay.
Okay.
And Lily loves him. He stayed with the Walters for 3 years. And he's like, Lily's in love with him. And he's like, I wasn't in love with her. He's like, I'm a bit of a dick. I was just using her for her body.
What the fuck?
And I loved the
Louis?
way that she took care of me.
What the fuck?
Because apparently she paid a lot of attention to him. And I'm like, he's a bit of an asshole, but also he was in a camp, so he's probably really fucked up right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have a bit of sympathy there, you know, for being an asshole. You know, because I think I'd be an asshole too.
If you were in a concentration camp, forced to push your parent in a pit.
Like, I've been terrified reading this whole thing because I've been like, what's going to happen? And it might be because, like, if I was in Nazi Germany, I would have been in a camp.
You'd be in the camp.
But,
Oh.
like, maybe some of my fear comes from that. But, you know... Like, I would have definitely been one of the people that died. I would have been wearing a star. It wouldn't have been good. I don't have a good immune system. I would have died real quick.
You would have not made it.
No, I would not be one of the survivors.
What a dark outlook on life.
I just know that they would know that I'm very Jewish. Upon looking at me.
Maybe.
Lily teaches Harry about fucking Icarus. She reads him the story, and that's where he learns about Icarus.
Oh, is this where all the Icarus references come from?
Great. I'm just...
For any of y'all guys curious, Harry has a tattoo on his arm.
No, he doesn't.
14068. Those are his numbers.
Oh.
Okay.
Yay. And so Louis... Oh, yeah, by the way. Harry's like, yeah, but somebody saw me on the farm. And they came and they... Because I wasn't careful enough, they came and checked out the place. I hid under their floorboards. I lived in their attic, you know. And after that, they're like, we can't keep you here anymore because our family's going to die. You haven't been careful enough. But we're going to give you some money. And whenever the war is over, we're going to move back to our own home. But nobody's there right now, so you can live there until you get back to your feet. Not get off, but till you get back onto your feet. And I'm like, even though these people are kind of strict, they're really generous. And he's like, anyway, that's been my life. How's your life been, Louis? Louis like, I fucking left Berlin, and I lived with my aunt. And I met a guy named Victor. He's a soldier, a French soldier, and he almost died at Dunkirk. And I'm like, okay, that's a thing. And he's like, yeah, and this guy, he treated me really well. He loved me, but it just didn't work out. Which is not the truth. He didn't want to tell Harry, while Harry was dating this girl, that he met the Frenchman Victor, but he was abusive.
Oh.
He was very abusive towards Louis for a few years. And Louis was just so, like, infatuated with the guy.
Yikes.
But after, like, bad fights and everything, he'd get him, like jewelry and stuff like that.
Why?
And buy him expensive gifts to be like, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. And he was like, nope. And then one night, in the middle of the night, he ran away. And still, like, stayed at different motels in different places to escape this man.
Yeah?
And I was like, oh, okay. And Harry is a dumb slut. And he's like, oh, so you like men? Does that mean you're a gay? And Louis is like, yeah, I am a gay. And he was like, good for you. I thought you would have grown out of that by now. I'm like, I fucking hate Harry.
Why do Louis and Harry both suck in this story now?
I don't know.
They're just
I
horrible
fucking hate them
consistently.
both. And then, like, Harry does everything he can to get Louis to leave, like making Louis think that he never existed by going to get groceries, but hiding all of his belongings and making it seem like he was never there. And Louis is like, did I break into someone's home and imagine this? I wouldn't be surprised because I've been kind of off the rails lately.
What the fuck?
Oh.
And he's just trying to be a dick to Louis and get him to leave. But Louis's not leaving because he loves him. And while Harry leaves one night to go to the bar to get drunk because he has an alcohol problem, Louis snoops in Harry's suitcase. Alright? He sees a photo of Lily and she's like, yeah, that bitch is gorgeous, okay? He's like,
okay.
Louis's attitude towards Lily, he's like, I hate her. I'm like,
my
why
God.
do you hate her? Like, I don't ever understand that mentality. Like, she sounds like a nice girl. The only thing that she has is that she dated this man and fell in love. There's no reason for you to
every
hurt.
single girl around.
I'm like,
boy.
I hate them all. The only person I don't hate is Lottie.
What about Nora?
I like Nora too.
She's dead though.
I feel bad about Nora. Stop,
Poor
stop,
Nora.
Stop, stop, stop.
On Christmas. I mean
Hanukkah.
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 Shanukkah.
And he finds a photo of him and Harry together. And it was like, if I could fly, I would fly home to you, was written on the back. And he was like, I don't know what that means.
Gay?
And then he finds a letter from Ariel, written in 1942. Like, a year has passed of them being in the concentration camp, you know? And he's essentially like, Dear Carla, if you're reading this letter, it means that Harry's escaped, but I have not made it.
Me.
Ooh.
And he's like essentially apologizing for not doing things differently, for not trying to get out while they still could have gotten out, not trying to take preventative measures better, you know. He's sorry that they may never see each other again. And, you know, he's doing everything he can to get Harry out of the camp and for him to live. And I'm like, Ariel was a good guy. Ariel's the MVP, you know? Like, it fucking sucks. And he also found an excerpt from the Icarus story, and the ending was like, son, don't fly too high, Icarus, your wings will melt. And he's like, Dad, look at me. And then his wings start melting, you know? And he falls to the ocean, and his dad's like, oh shit. And he is looking at the ocean, he's like, I can't see my son. Well, I guess I gotta fly on. However, my son's final cry will always haunt me. Dad, help me. I was like, why did they include this? Because this just made me feel bad.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the reason.
That's
To make you feel
probably
bad.
just the reason.
They mentioned Louis's ear while he was staying with the Frenchmen and everything.
His
Because of
ear?
air raids. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
When one of the bombs dropped, he was by a window and the glass shattered and his hearing got fucked up. And that side of his face got fucked up. And that's the only time the Frenchman was like, I love you, mi amore.
Okay.
A bunch of uwus. And he also finds a bottle of cyanide in the suitcase. And he's like, oh shit.
Sip out.
Harry's he wants to kill himself. That's why he's been a dick to me. He wants me to leave so he can kill himself. And he goes and he finds Harry. He's drunk at a bar, and Harry's like, I hate you. And he's like, you don't hate me. And Harry's like, you're right. And he's like, why won't you leave? And he was like, you want to kill yourself? You're going to let Ariel die in vain? Ariel died so you could live a better life. Ariel's done nothing but make sure your life was good. When you got kicked out of school, even though y'all guys were poor, he made sure you had an education and all this other shit. He made sure you would escape the place. He divorced Carla so she wouldn't get into a camp, you know? And he's like, and you're gonna kill yourself? And Harry is like, you're right.
You got me there.
And then they have some uwu moments in bed, and they go to sleep. Harry wakes up the next day because Louis is fucking stupid.
But do they boop snoots?
They didn't really boop snoots,
That's a shame.
but they boop snoots emotionally.
I mean, that's the real boob snooty.
That's
That's the real boop snoot.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Louis didn't throw away the bottle of cyanide or even try to hide it because he's fucking stupid.
You gotta keep it on hand in case something happens.
Harry woke up and he was like, let me go get that bottle of cyanide. And he's like, I'm going to take it. And then he's like, you know what? I'm not. And he throws it out the window and it shatters. Now I'm like, some dog is going to come up and get that cyanide and fucking die, right? So anyway, they go to Berlin, you know, and he's like, you can come and see my family. Your mom's there, too. She's alive. Your mom's alive. And you know what? You know, it's a good reason you didn't kill yourself because she needs this letter from Ariel. Who is going to deliver this letter, you know?
True.
And so they
The
go.
mailman.
And Berlin's a little different.
Just a little.
You know, their old homes are just metal, you know, strippings and everything. Most people are crammed into one apartment. Dust is everywhere, you know, Soviets are everywhere, you know, because it was bombed the fuck out of, you know.
Just a little.
Yeah. Well, this girl starts walking up to Louis, and he's trying to ignore her because he's like, I don't know where my family is. And it said, eventually she got close enough to where he couldn't ignore her anymore. And he was like, hello. Oh my god, you're Lottie. And apparently she's as tall as Louis, but she's 14, so I'm like, she's a tall girl.
Tall bitch.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say tall bitch, but I was like, can I say that about a 14-year-old? Can I call her a tall bitch?
She's tall.
And they all have a nice reunion, and she's like, yes, let me take you to our family. Harry, you're alive! And she hugs Harry and everything. They go upstairs to see Frida, and she has the babies and everything. She doesn't wear her wedding ring anymore, because I guess that shit ended. And she apologizes to Harry, and she's like, I'm sorry. That night I knew and everything, and I didn't warn everyone. And she's like, I'm nothing but an awful person. I should have done more. She's like, I only looked out for myself and my family when I should have looked out for, like, everyone else. And Harry was like, I only looked out for myself, too.
I just love...
Because part of his problem was he was like, I should have tried to help someone else escape, too. Or helped my dad try to escape or something.
I don't know that I would have done that.
No, I was like, I would have done the exact same thing, as horrible as that is.
In fact, I probably wouldn't have escaped. I would have died.
I would have died. I mean, there's no way I would have been able to stab that officer to death.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about for moral reasons. I'm talking about for practical, physical reasons. I literally couldn't stab him to death.
Same.
Not for lack of trying.
And that's why you said you would have died.
I would have died.
As soon as possible.
I mean, some of us are just, we are the weakest links.
Listen, we know where we are.
I have no delusions about my strength.
Know your place.
And he goes...
I know mine.
He goes, I
Know
forgive
yours.
you. He was
I
like, I don't
fully
hold
know.
any grudges against you. And then he's like, can someone take me to my mom? And they're like, yeah, she's still here and everything. And, you know, they're like, Lottie can take you. So Lottie takes Harry, and she's like, oh, it's so great to be outside. My mom doesn't let me outside by myself a lot, though. And Harry's like, why? Why can't you be outside by yourself?
Why?
And then she points to a Soviet soldier, and she's like, they rape all the girls and women who are alone.
Oh.
And Harry's like, stay close with me, just hold my hand, and lead me to my mother.
Good call. Good
And
call.
I was like, okay, the war may be over, but yes, the Soviets, we've all forgotten.
No one ever remembers the Soviets.
And he reunites with his mom, who's working with a wheelbarrow for some reason, and she sees him, drops the wheelbarrow, runs to him, they hug, and she's like, my son, my baby. You know, I'm like, aww. And I don't know how she takes Ariel's news, because they don't show that. That was just it. I assume she's pretty heartbroken, though.
Yeah.
Fast forward a few years. I assume it's 1947, because Harry mentioned that he's grown his hair out in the past 2 years. So I'm assuming 1947.
Subtle.
They are very gay, him and Louis. They moved out of Berlin, their family did too, because of the Soviet presence.
Too many Soviets.
They moved somewhere to like Sweden, and to a place I can't pronounce. And their moms know they're gay. Lottie, this whole entire time, knew that Harry and Louis were gay, by the way. Because at one point early in their story, when Louis like, I broke up with Harry, she's like, but you loved him. He's like, yeah, of course I loved him. He was my best friend. And she's like, no, you love him. And she's like, there's nothing wrong with this. And I'm like, Lottie is the best character.
She is the best.
Lottie
She's the MVP.
knows what's up.
They told their parents, and their parents were like, yeah, we kind of figured, you know? And they're supportive for someone in 1945, but it's also like, I assume, you know, it's whatever. You're just happy your children are alive. I'm not saying being gay is a bad thing. I'm just saying it would be perceived as a bad thing back then.
Yeah.
And
Gay rights wasn't really a thing back
no,
then.
no, not a lot of people had rights back then.
Unless you were white and male.
Yep. And that's the only people who know, and also they're street sweeper because they can see inside the house. And they're looking at some planes because they're about to go on a plane fucking ride. And they're like, look at this. And they kiss in public, but while they'll be like, is anyone looking? Smooch. Like,
Okay.
I'm like, y'all guys are really living on the edge.
You gotta find some joy.
And then so they get in the plane, and the guy's piloting it. Harry's in the middle, Louis in the back, and Louis like, we're gonna fucking die. I'm afraid of planes. And he's like, if we fucking die, Harry, know that I love you. And it was not Lottie who broke the teapot. It was me. And
That's
then
the worst thing he's done.
they're flying in the
The
sky, and Harry's like, look, Lou, we're flying. And that's the end. Those were the last words.
I
Those
hate
were the
that.
last words of the day.
We're flying.
It was very, we're flying, Lou.
Really, was there not some sort of like another Icarus mention at the end that you may have
At
missed?
least like
No, I would have noted it.
another 3 Icari.
I was like,
4 Icarus mentions.
this was a really good story, even if I hated both the main characters.
Yes.
But what does this have to do with One Direction?
Nothing.
See, that's the thing. I don't even think that's their personalities, is it? Like, I don't know anything about One Direction, but I don't think that's their personalities.
I think they just have to guess or just figure out like what kind of characters they want, and then be like, this one will be Harry.
I assume they did it for the clicks, you know?
Maybe they just have like, I don't know, I want to see these characters in as much pain as possible.
But I thought it was a pretty good story. You know?
Yeah.
Very good.
I liked the
very
historical
entertaining.
accuracy that they had.
Historical context is very important.
This whole time, I haven't known what Louis looks like. Like, I know what Harry looks like, but I don't know.
I know what Louis looks like, but know that I'm imagining someone else.
I know what the Euphoria versions of both of them look like.
Also, I want to talk about how Louis, at the beginning of the fic, when they were little kids, he pissed me off so much because, like, this author writes children very well. And I can picture the type of little boy that Louis is. That hyper annoying as fuck kid. And it was pissing me off because I was like, I fucking hate
Well,
Louis.
they did a good job.
They did.
So, what would you rate this? Wonderful. One Direction fic?
I'd give it, like, a 9 out of 10 on writing. Because they actually did things pretty well. The ending was abrupt, I feel like.
Look, Lou, we're flying.
And I feel like maybe they didn't want to get into the concentration camp thing. They also mentioned when Louis retold his story to everyone at the dinner table, Harry. It would be the same one he'd use for many conferences overseas in the future. So he's going to become one of those Holocaust survivor talkers.
Damn.
But, and he adds more and more details over time that I assume the author themselves didn't want to add. But for entertainment, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10.
10 out
I
of
was
10.
very entertained reading this fic.
That's what this is all about.
It's all about entertainment.
And I felt like I was going to die.
You would.
I would die. I would have been Nora.
Oh my
the
god.
German woman? You know the German woman who came out of the store and was like, "You guys suck."
Was that you?
No, because I wouldn't have come out and said it. Listen, I want to live, okay?
Listen, you have that blonde hair and blue eyes.
But I'm not German,
No, you're not.
so I just can't talk. But they probably like their women that way anyway.
The Soviets do.
Soviet.
Soviet Russia.
Hayden liked his women like that.
He sure did.
That's a bad joke.
Yeah,
Oh.
It's dark.
Making bad jokes.
Oh.
Listen, it's fine.
Listen, it's part
It's
of
fine.
coping because I was really horrified.
We're all traumatized
This
from
is-
this fanfic and we're dealing with it, okay?
The darkest timeline.
Indeed. This One Direction timeline is the darkest timeline.
Real. It's a little too real.
A little
You know,
too
maybe
real.
this was just a real story and the characters just happened to be named Harry and Louis with no connection to One Direction.
That would be kind of funny if they were like, and here's the random people's obituaries who we base them after.
I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite that historical.
No.
No. So we still have 2 fanfics to get through.
Yeah, 2.
2 whole fanfics.
One fanfic.
1.
1.
Listen, I'm dropping mine out because it's terrible, okay?
Well, mine, it's the plot to Dark Souls 3,
Yes.
but I don't feel like explaining the plot to Dark Souls 3.
Listen, she covered a lot of ground. We could just, like, not do anything.
We
Listen,
could, you know,
I've
we
told
could
so
just...
much historical accuracy today. I've been a teacher.
Like, she's
To the
really,
young
she's
minds.
saving this episode.
You really have. You know, I want to flesh mine out a little more.
That's fine. You
Flesh
can-
out the description and describe the plot of Dark Souls 3.
You know what? Next week's episode, you can just go into it. You can lay into it.
I will.
Okay.
That's what I'll do. You know, there was also a Sekiro fanfiction that I saw, and it was like Buddhist themes, reincarnation, feelings of depression because of reincarnation.
Interesting.
It was a long fic too, so I might read that
I'm
for a
gonna
future
read the
episode.
Zootopia one, so I
Do
can
it.
find out. Because there was a Zootopia one that was collectively like 100,000 words or something.
Oh my god. We can have a whole Zep.
That?
Zootopia.
And it was set in the Edo period. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna be like samurai animals.
You should do what I do and mark down the historical facts the author puts in.
I will. They're
'Cause I was
using all the
like-
right Japanese words of what I read so far.
I was like, y'all guys want to know about the Soviet presence in Berlin?
We'll spread this era thing out for a few more episodes, okay?
It's too good. It's too good.
We're just getting a lot of content.
It's just too much good content for one podcast.
I was really reading that fucking fic though, being like, this is so good. I felt like I was reading one of the, like, when I was back in high school reading one of those, like, Holocaust books, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, The
Like,
Boy in the Striped Pajamas,
Yeah, you know, one
starring
of those
Louis
historical
and
fiction
Harry.
books for English class. And I was like, I shouldn't be feeling like I'm reading this.
You know, Louis would have been Pajama Boy if the
Louis-
officer that one time wasn't his father when he was like.
He
"I'm
would have been
Peter."
Pajama Boy.
No, Pajama Boy's the Jew boy.
Yeah, he would have been Pajama
Oh,
Boy.
he
as in
would
the
have been
story.
Pajama
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the end of Pajama Boy.
Well,
Boy in the striped pajamas.
because there was the boy that pretended to be a
I
pajama.
know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
thought-
would've been
He
Louis.
did it because he wanted to be with his friend.
In the end, they both wore pajamas.
And
Well, yes, I'm just saying.
and they walked into the
I
gas
know.
chamber.
I was. It took me a minute.
You're a little slow on the uptake.
I am, but so are y'all. You're signed. You're supposed to be successful. Look at you.
Well, thank you everyone for
I'm
listening
filled
to
with
this
success.
episode.
Do y'all
of
guys
The
like butter
Leftovers.
noodles?
Thanks everyone for listening to this episode of the Leftovers podcast. We're gonna continue with the historical AU series because there's too much good material to cover.
Listen, this bitch only likes plain noodles, okay?
So thanks again for
Trying
listening.
to
Don't forget to leave a
invalidate me.
like,
She's invalid.
leave a comment, share this.
Tell us what kind of pasta you like.
Sure, tell us what kind of pasta you like. Can't wait to hear your responses. Thank you guys so
Crickets.
much and see you again next week. Goodbye.